Well, Uditha, you have a group of research assistants who are doing a great job. But if you take, you and I are also doing a book on a prominent minister. So what can you say
Former
about
minister.
a former minister? What can you say about your group of research assistants?
Well, I suppose it all started in 2023 when I was offered a book project on a certain religious denominations work in education in Sri Lanka.
Who was your first research assistant?
Good question. My first research assistant is now on his way to Austria, Utpala Vijaysurya. I think you know Utpala very well.
Utpala, I know him very well. I think it was Utpala who introduced me to you, and through him we got to know each other.
So interesting. I mean, how did you get to know me? This
was in 2023 during the Mustangs game. I was in a chat with Utpala and Nimsara. So Utpala knew that I was interested in business and economics, and he asked whether I could engage with you and get into some writing. So
And
I
that
said
was
yes.
that.
That was the first time I had encountered your name, but that was not the first time I had seen you. I had seen you at the Royal Thomaian big match, which was a week prior to the Mustangs game. But forget all about that. We first met in 2023 April.
But it was a long road from that to you becoming a part of my book project.
Yes, so we met in April, but our
Work.
work started, I mean, first work, I'd say my first article, and then our first project started back in April.
2024.
We brainstormed it in 2024 April, but we started our actual work in October 2024.
Yeah, right on the cusp of elections.
After
So
elections.
Utpal and Nimsara were my first research assistants, and both were involved in roughly the same projects. But from that point onwards, my network has expanded. One person has led me to another, and we are basically operating on multiple streams in multiple books. You, for instance, if I'm not mistaken, weren't involved only with this particular book that you and I are working on, but also my other projects.
Yes, I worked on your other two books as well, which I don't want to reveal details.
Yes. So basically, all I can say is that research is serious business. It requires serious people who know what they're doing. And for the longest possible time, I've always felt that people of your age category, remind me what your age category is?
We are in our early 20s.
Tend to be overlooked, ignored, and not invested in. I'm not saying that I'm trying to do something big, but I'm saying that once you recognize the talents that you guys have, then it becomes easier to take forward my research work. I don't know what your observations on that are, but maybe you can tell me what they are.
Well, one of the questions that you can get is why don't you invest in people of your age? And why do you tend to go with people in their 20s? Because 20s is the time you start your career.
Yes.
And you are very much inexperienced. But you have opted for inexperience. I mean, from experience side, they are not very affirmative. But
yes, I suppose
from
you
your
could say
side,
that.
you tend to side with people who are in their early 20s.
Because that was my experience when I was in my 20s, and I'm here going to mention two names. Actually, I'm going to mention one name because that name changed my life for the better. The other name I won't mention for certain reasons because of privacy and stuff. But this particular name I would mention is someone you've met, Malinda Seniviratne. So I was your age when I first met Malinda. Actually, I was 1 year older than you when I first met Malinda. At your
Good
age
luck
now.
guessing our ages.
Well, he took me in, he pushed me to various writing gigs, and he'll be the last to admit it, but he was the person who actually initiated me into writing. I'm glad that in some capacity we are working together again, but in a totally different capacity to what we were back then. So one thing I realized is that very few people were looking at me as someone who could be taken on board important projects, but he made that decision. And I'm grateful to him and to this other person who played a bigger role, I would say, in my later life towards the end of my 20s. I won't mention his name, but I will say that I was his research assistant on a history book for the longest possible time. So it's actually their humility and the fact that they were willing to sacrifice their egos to get me forward which helped me become who I am. And it's not a matter of me thinking, okay, they did this for me, I should do this for y'all. It's a very natural logic. If we invest in your generation now, I might not get returns for myself, but it's a very fun way of interacting with people and mentoring them. And I think mentoring is something that's missing somewhat in Sri Lanka. Maybe you might disagree with me there, but your word is the final say here.
Well, what is your advice for the younger generation in Sri Lanka, especially the ones who start their career right now?
Well, I mean, my field is historical and cultural research. It's a very niche area, and I'm afraid that it's not an area that pays well in Sri Lanka, unlike, say, in the West or even in India. Foreign policy research is some other area that I have also engaged in. My advice is 20-30 years ago, medicine and engineering were seen as conventional fields. Now it's IT that's seen as a conventional field. You'll notice that 5-6 years ago, IT was not seen as a conventional field, but today everyone is doing IT and AI. So the mainstream fields of today were once the non-conventional fields of yesterday. So
It's changing.
it's changing. So I would advise you all to look at niche areas where you can specialize in, become a specialist of, and reap dividends. That's what I think I'm trying to do. I don't know until I've actually done it, but that's also something that I'm bringing you fellows also into, in a bid to actually go off the beaten track and try something new.
Well, another issue faced by the youth is that they don't have money. They want capital.
Yes.
But do you prioritize money over passion or passion over money?
Well, basically, monetizing passion is a challenge, and that is my ultimate advice to you all. Try to monetize your passion. It's not hard. You don't have to live the life of a poor, miserly poet or an artist to live the life you want. Why do you have to view these as opposites? Why do you have to say, okay, I can either be an artist or I can be a rich businessman? Why can't you be a rich artist? Why can't you be an artist who commands high commissions and salaries and whatnot? The world is yours to win, and my personal experience so far, I'm still 32, so there I've revealed my age. I'm still at a formative stage in my life, so I think there's a lot more to go for me and a lot more for you guys as well. But my advice is never be afraid of trying out what fits you, and never fail or never give up on trying to monetize what you're good at. It's a very big challenge, but it's something that can work even in a country like Sri Lanka.
Well, thanks for the advice, and we'll see you with another video.
Thank you. You too.